juice. J, 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 j. K for knife and K for key. K, 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 k. L for lips and L for lamb. L, 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 l. M for mat and M for moon. M, 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 m. N for neck and N for nail. N, 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 n. O for ox and O for oil. O, 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 o. P for pot and P for pig. P, 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 p. Q for quail and Q for quill. G, 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 g. R for rose and R for run. R, 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 r. S for sand and S for soap. S, 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 s. T for tunnel and T for tap. T, 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 t. U for uniform, U for uncle. Ooh, 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 ooh. U, V for violin and V for vanish. V, 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 v. W for wolf and W for window. V, 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 v. X for Xmas tree, X for X-ray. X, 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 x. Y for yo-yo, Y for yarn. Yeah, 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 yeah. Z for zigzag, Z for zip. Z, 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 z. A for apple, B for bag. C for cow, D for door. E for eagle, F for frog. G for girl, H for hat. I for ink pot, J for jar. K for key, L for leaf. M for matchstick, N for nose. O for owl, P for pan. Q for quiet, R for rose. S for sun, T for tub. U for unicorn, V for vase. W for whale, X for xerox. Y for yellow, Z for zoo. A for apple, B for bat, b, b, b. C for camel, c, 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 c. D for dolphin, d, 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 d. E for eagle, a, 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 a. F for frog, f, 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 f. G for glass, g, 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 g. H for hammer, goat, and C for car. Ka, 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 ka. D for dress, and D for doll. Da, 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 da. E for eyes, and E for earth. E, 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 E. F for fox, and F for fan. F, 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 F. G for gate, and G for guitar. G, 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 G. H for horse, and H for hut. H, 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 H. I for iron, I for ice. E, 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 E. J for jeep, and J for juice. J, 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 J. K for knife, and K for key. K, 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 K. L for lips, and L for lamb. L, 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 L. M for mat, and M for moon. M, 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 M. N for neck, and N for nail. N, 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 N. O for ox, and O for oil. O, 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 O. P for pot, and P for pig. P, 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 P. Q for quail, and Q for quill. K, 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 K. R for rose, and R for run. R, 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 R. S for sand, and S for soap. S, 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 S. T for tunnel, and T for tap. Ta, 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 ta. U for uniform, U for uncle. Ooh, 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 ooh. U, V for violin, and V for vanish. V, 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 V. W for wolf, and W for window. V, 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 V. X for Xmas tree, X for X-ray. X, 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 X. Y for yo-yo, Y for yarn. Yeah, 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 yeah. Z for zigzag, Z for zip. Z, 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 Z. xylophone. Y for yak, yeah, 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 yeah. Z for zebra, z, 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 z. A for apple, B for ball, C for candle, D for dog, E for elephant, F for fish, G for giraffe, H for hen, I for ice cream, J for jug, K for king, L for log, M for mango, N for nest, O for orange, P for peacock, Q for queen, R for rat, S for ship, T for tiger, U for uniform, V for van, W for watch, X for x-ray, Y for yak, Z for zebra. A for accent, A for B for bus and B for bell, b, 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 b. C for coat and C for car, g, 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 g. D for dress and D for doll, d, 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 d. E for eyes and E for earth, E, 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 E. F for fox and F for fan, f, 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 f. G for gate and G for guitar, g, 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 g. H for horse and H for hut, h, 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 h. I for